understand the relationship and the connections between Clintons, and this is both Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton as a president and later, with Fethullah Gülen, and around money amount that involves hundreds of millions of dollars, we need to go back to mid-1990s. Again, I exposed Operation Gladio B. In mid-1990s, there was a decision by CIA, NATO, MI6 to switch from Operation Gladio A into Operation Gladio B by utilizing these various Islamic factions and setting up terror cells and targeting Central Asia, Caucasus, certain portions of the Middle East. And that's when Gülen, Fethullah Gülen, Mullah Fethullah Gülen came into this picture. Well, one of the first implementations of Operation Gladio B was during the Balkans conflict, okay? This was when we started taking Balkans apart and we started making 3-4 countries out of each one of those Eastern Bloc countries. When did this take place? It took place during Bill Clinton's presidency. It was on his watch. Operation Gladio B it started during the administration of Bill Clinton. And in 1998, when the grooming took place with Fethullah Gülen and the CIA NATO players, it was per Clinton's, and this is both Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton, that was decided to have private planes going to Turkey and taking this guy, Mullah Fethullah Gülen, this Islamist terrorist, put him on the plane, bring him into the United States. Now, I worked in the FBI, and I have gone on record for the past 14 years. The very explosive, important files that I got the state secrets privilege order on, I got gag order on, had to do with this special operation, Operation Gladio B, for the files that dated from 1997, late 1997, until February 2002. And I can tell you from first-hand information, from direct information, that FBI was already by 2000-2001 pursuing Fethullah Gülen in several different divisions, both regular crime division, counterterrorism division, and also white-collar crime. So they had several investigations going on that started immediately in late 1999 on Fethullah Gülen. And it was Clinton's White House through Janet Reno, and this was when Janet Reno was in charge of the Department of Justice, that the FBI investigators, and these were my direct bosses, special agents, were ordered to stop all the criminal investigations and funnel all those folders on Fethullah Gülen, thick files of heroin connection, money laundering, and all sorts of embezzlement that was actually done under the umbrella of the CIA's unit set up for him, to take all those files, and they transferred those files to counterintelligence. And for people who don't understand the difference between counterintelligence and counterterrorism and criminal division in the FBI, in counterintelligence investigations, you gather information, but you can never ever use that information in court to jail someone. You cannot bring as FBI a court case, meaning it's only for intelligence gathering purposes. So Janet Reno, Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton, they pressured the FBI, they gave direct orders saying, everything you have collected on Fethullah Gülen, you are going to seize this operation investigations. You are going to transfer all those files and only pursue it under counterintelligence. Meaning, Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton, they gave this guy and his criminal activities in the United States immunity, blanket immunity. They actually stepped in and saved this terrorist, this criminal, this heroin operator. And this happened on Bill Clinton's watch. So this is why I'm emphasizing the importance of these emails that we would like to see and analyze, but also to remind our viewers that the relationship, as we are going to show, actually let's show it right now. Here is former President Bill Clinton, the man who brought in the terrorist Imam Fethullah Gülen into the United States, okay, on Fethullah Gülen and Fethullah Gülen's relationship with himself and his wife. Let's watch this.
Good evening. In this interdependent world, the fates of people on opposite sides of the globe are increasingly linked. And it's critical to keep the lines of communications open as much as we can. That's why the communication between the Turkish-American community and the people of Turkey is so important. It's important to ensure your vibrant cultural heritage, to make sure it continues to thrive and inspires and builds a bridge that reaches over all faiths and creeds and the ocean. By being here tonight, you are contributing to lasting peace and security at home and abroad. You're contributing to the promotion of the ideals of tolerance and interfaith dialogue, inspired by Fethullah Gülen and his transnational social movement. You do it through your everyday lives, and you are truly strengthening the fabric of our common humanity, as well as promoting the ongoing cultural and educational ties that bind our world together. I want to thank you for your contributions to America, for your contributions to stronger Turkish-American relationships and better understanding, and especially for your friendship to Hillary and to me. Thank you.
So as you can see, these people, Clinton administration was already working with this terrorist, with this money launderer, with this heroin dealer, with $20+ billion net worth here in the United States, dating back in late 1990s. And of course, with the coming email, we are going to see that they were being paid off further through all the money, the drug money, the heroin money, the money laundering money, the Islamic terror money that is being funneled, has been funneled from Fethullah Gülen and his network to, of course, Hillary Clinton, our presidential candidate, to her foundation. So we are basically looking at thugs. We are looking at criminal entities here. I'm not talking about Fethullah Gülen. I'm talking about a president and later a former president and a presidential candidate, Hillary Clinton. As one of the main players in Operation Gladio B and with Fethullah Gülen and setting up madrasas and terror cells in Central Asia and Caucasus way back when, in 2008. So you're looking at 8 years ago. I kept screaming saying, you have to look at this man. I know it said he was retired from the CIA, but Graham Fuller never retired from the CIA. He still works both for NATO and the CIA as contract worker. He's getting paid. He works in Rand corporations, and he's still one of the main handlers for the terror network of Imam Fethullah, Mullah Fethullah Gülen here in the United States. And there are other figures as well. And again, these figures were handpicked by Clintons during Clinton administration for these operations utilizing this mullah, this Ayatollah Fethullah Gülen. Other people, for example, would be Mark Grossman. Mark Grossman used to be the U.S. ambassador appointed by the Clintons, the Clinton crime family. I have to refer to them as mafia, to Turkey. And while he was there, even before Fethullah Gülen came in, to the United States, was brought by CIA airplane to the United States, it was Graham Fuller and Mark Grossman, okay, and he's a dual Israeli-U.S. citizen. They were the ones who were grooming and doing the prep work for bringing Fethullah Gülen into the United States and setting up his network in the United States. And of course, they also were in charge of a lot of the heroin labs that back then, some of them were in Turkey, some of them were in Azerbaijan. And we are looking at a couple who have basically been walking on the water, walking on water. They have weathered 4 or 5 potential prosecutions. We saw what happened with the Libya-related emails and Hillary Clinton. We are looking at an FBI director that is directly tied to them and their foundation. We are looking at this woman Lynch, the head of Department of Justice, who's been pocketed by the Clinton foundations and Clintons, has private conversations with the targets of her investigations in tarmacs, okay? Who was employed by a law firm that was cleaning, laundering, whatever, whitewashing Clinton Foundation's accounting books. So what is going to happen with the DOJ and the FBI? Well, so far, nothing has touched this couple. That's why I'm referring to them as the mob, as the mafia family. Was in charge of the Department of Justice. That the FBI investigators, and these were my direct bosses, special agents, were ordered to stop all the criminal investigations and funnel all those folders on how they're going to whitewash all this, because they have been doing the dirty laundry of Clinton administration. 90% of the media, which is the liberal media, that's New York Times, Washington Post, LA Times, NBC, MSNBC, of course they are not going to utilize this in any way or showcase it. And then the next step is the 5th state that we have been referring. The man is communicating directly, and she's the Secretary of the State, and dictating, telling her what to do on what foreign policy, what to do in Albania, what to do in the Balkans, okay? And this is when she was the Secretary of State. So, and the same thing, the same George Soros, that evil man, is the one who brought to us and presented to us Obama, what we have seen for the past 8 years. And look at all the NGOs, whether they are so-called media watchdogs like FAIR.org, whether they are government watchdogs, so-called watchdog organizations such as POGO, Project on Government Oversight. Well, this man is enrolling, he's giving money to all of them. He's bankrolling all these organizations. So you're not gonna see anything meaningful that should be in place from these NGOs paid by George Soros and the foundations. You're not going to see anything from the mainstream media. This couple will be in jail by now, would have been in jail had they been ordinary, real Americans, okay? They are like the mob families. They have the media pocketed, and they have networked with all these mafia, mob thugs, whether it's Fethullah Gülen terror organization, the drug heroin dealers, or it's with the evil man George Soros. So that's the network they belong to. So it's going to boil down to you and me. It's going to boil down to the people here in the United States who still think their votes matter. And even to a certain degree, it's going to depend on the people around the world. Because what they do, what happens here, as we can see with these emails, has direct implications all over the world. It's Fethullah Gülen, CIA, Soros. These are the people who organized that failed attempted coup in Turkey. It's the same people who had first-hand directing, managing what we saw in Ukraine. These are the same people, based on the emails released, who manage what we do in the Balkans.